Hi guys! So I haven't really been on in a while and I apologize for that, but I'm back with a new video. I thought I can just make some like page turning noises and just kind of ramble on. Um, so I'm gonna give you guys a little history about myself and the ASMR community. I've been watching ASMR videos for like um, I would say about 4 years probably. Um, I've always been interested in like the whispering. Like, I don't know, when I was in school, I would hear like the teacher like helping out someone behind me or like next to me or something, and it would like sorry, it would like tingle my head, and like I would feel really good and like want to fall asleep and stuff. And so I'm really thankful for the ASMR community. It's definitely helped a lot with my insomnia. I have terrible insomnia. This morning actually was really bad. I woke up like at 6 a.m. and I couldn't fall asleep. It's now 11 and I'm feeling kind of tired, so I'm sorry if I have like a sleepy voice. um, I was thinking about reading a little bit from this book, but I'll just read like a chapter, just to have something to like talk about. Chapter's not that bad. Oops, bookmark just fell out. Let's see. So let's read a chapter together. The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. When I wake up, the other side of the bed is cold. My fingers stretch out, seeking Prim's warmth, but finding only the rough canvas cover of the mattress. She must have had bad dreams inclining with our mother. Of course she did. This is the day of the reaping. I propped myself up on one elbow. There was enough light in the bedroom to see them. My little sister Prim, curled up on her side, cocooned in my mother's body, their cheeks pressed together. In sleep, my mother looks younger, still worn, but not so beaten down. Prim's face is as fresh as a raindrop, as lovely as the primrose for which she was named. My mother was very beautiful once, too, or so they tell me. Sitting at Prim's knees, guarding her, is the world's most ugliest cat, mashed in nose, half of one ear missing, eyes of color, eyes the color of rotting squash. Prim named him Buttercup, insisting that his muddy yellow coat matched the bright flower. He hates me, or at least distrusts me. Even though it was years ago, I think he still remembers how I tried to drown him in a bucket when Prim brought him home. Scrawny kitten, belly swollen with worms, crawling with fleas. The last thing I needed was another mouth to feed. But Prim begged so hard, cried even, I had to let him stay. It turned out okay. My mother got rid of the vermin, and My mother got rid of the vermin, and he's a born mouser. Even catches the occasional rat. Sometimes when I kill, I feed Buttercup the intros. He has stopped hissing at me. Intros, no hissing. This is the closest we'll ever come to love. I swing my legs off the bed and slide into my hunting boots, supple leather that has molded to my feet. I pull on trousers, a shirt, tuck my long dark braid up into a cap, and grab my forage bag. On the table, under a wooden bowl to protect it from the hungry rats and cats alike, sits a perfectly little goat cheese wrapped in basil leaves, Prim's gift to me on weeping day. I put the cheese carefully in my pocket as I slip outside. Our part of District 12, nicknamed the Seam, is usually crawling with coal miners heading out into the morning shift at this hour. Men and women with hunched shoulders, swollen knuckles, many who have long since stopped trying to scrub the coal dust out of their broken nails, the lines of their sunken faces. But today, the black cinder streets are empty. Shutters on the squat gray houses are closed. The reaping isn't until 2. May as well sleep in, if you can. Our house is almost at the edge of the seam. I only have to pass a few gates to reach the scruff field called the meadow. Separating the meadow from the woods, in fact, enclosing all of District 12, is a high chain-link fence topped with barbed wire loops. In theory, it's supposed to be electrified 24 hours a day as a deterrent to the predators that live in the woods. Pack of wild dogs, lone cougars, bears that used to threaten our streets. But since we're lucky to get 2 or 3 hours of electricity in the evenings, it's usually safe to touch. Even so, I always take a moment to listen carefully for the hum that means that the fence is live. Right now, it's silent as a stone. Concealed by a clump of bushes, I flatten out on my belly and slide under a 2 feet stretch that's been loose for years. There are several other weak spots in the fence, but this one is so close to home I almost always enter the woods here. As soon as I leave the trees, I retrieve a bow and sheath of arrows from a hollow log. Electrified or not, the fence has been successful at keeping the flesh eaters out of District 12. Inside the woods, they roam freely. There are added concerns like venomous snakes, rabid animals, and no real paths to follow. But there's also food if you know how to find it. My father knew, and he taught me some before he was blown to bits in a mine explosion. There was nothing even to bury. I was 11 then. 5 years later, I still wake up screaming for him to run. Even though trespassing in the woods is illegal and poaching carries the severest of penalties, more people would risk it if they had weapons. But most are not brave enough to venture out with just a knife. My bow is a rarity, crafted by my father along with a few others that I kept well hidden in the woods, carefully wrapped in waterproof covers. My father could have made good money selling them, but if the officials found out, he would have been publicly executed for inciting a rebellion. Many of the peacekeepers turn a blind eye to few of us who hunt because they're as hungry for fresh meat as anybody is. In fact, we're among our best customers. But the idea that someone might be arming the scene could have never been allowed. In the fall, a few brave souls sneak into the woods to harvest apples, but always in sight of the meadow. Always close enough to run back to the safety of District 12 if trouble arises. District 12, where you can starve to death in safety, I mutter. Then I glance quickly over my shoulder. Even here, in the middle of nowhere, you worry someone might overhear you. When I was younger, I scared my mother to death. The things I would blurt out about District 12, about the people who rule our country, Panem, from the far-off city called the capital. Eventually, I understood that this would lead us to more trouble. So I learned to hold my tongue and to turn my features into indifferent masks so that no one could ever read my thoughts. Do my work quietly in school. Make only polite small talk to the public marketer. Make only polite small talk to the public market. Discuss little more than trades in the hub, which is the black market, or make most of my money. Even at home, where I am less pleasant, I avoid discussing tricky topics, like the reaping or food shortages, or the Hunger Games. Prim might begin to repeat my words, and then where would I be? In the woods waits the only person with whom I can be myself, Gail. I feel the muscles in my face relaxing, my pace quickening as I climb the hills to our place, a rocky ledge overlooking a valley. A thicket of berry bushes protects it from unwanted eyes. The sight of him waiting there brings on a smile. Gail says, I never smile except in the woods. Hey, Catnip, says Gail. My real name is Katniss, but when I first told him, I had barely whispered it, so he thought I said catnip. That's when this crazy lynx started following me around the woods looking for handouts. It became his official nickname for me. I finally had to kill the lynx because he scared off game. I almost regretted it because he wasn't bad company, but I got a decent price for his pelt. Look what I shot. Gail holds up a loaf of bread with an arrow stuck in it, and I laugh. It's a real bakery bread, not the flat, dense loaves that we make from our grain rations. I take it in my hands, pull out the arrow, and hold the puncture in the crust to my nose, inhaling the fragrance that makes my mouth flood with saliva. Fine bread like this is for special occasions. Still warm, I say. He must have been at the bakery at the crack of dawn to trade for it. What did it cost you? Just a squirrel. Think the old man was feeling sentimental this morning, says Gail. Even wished me luck. Well, we all feel a little closer today, don't we? I say, not even bothering to roll my eyes. Prim left us a cheese. I pull it out. His expression brightens at the treat. Thank you, Prim. We'll have a real feast. Suddenly, he falls into a capital accent as he mimics Elfie Trinker, the manically upbeer woman who appears once a year to read out the names at the reaping. I almost forgot. Happy Hunger Games. He plucks a few blackberries from the bushes around us, and may the odds. He tosses berry in a high arc toward me. I catch it in my mouth and break the delicate skin with my teeth. The sweet tartness explodes across my tongue. Be ever in your favor. I finish with the equal verb. We have to joke about it because the alternative is to be scared out of your wits. Besides, the capital accent is so affected, almost anything sounds funny in it. I watch as Gail pulls out the knife and slices the bread. He could be my brother. Straight black hair, olive skin, we even have the same gray eyes. We're not related, or at least not closely. Most of the families who work in the mines resemble one another. That's why my mother and Prim, with their light hair and blue eyes, always look out of place. They are. My mother's parents were part of a small merchant class that caters to officials, peacekeepers, and the occasional seam customer. They ran a apothecary shop in the nicer parts of District 12. Since almost no one can afford doctors, they were like our healers. My father got to know my mother because on his sons he would sometimes collect medicinal herbs and sell them to her on her shop to be brewed into remedies. She must have really loved him to leave her home for the scene. I try to remember that when all we can see is the woman who's sorry. I remember that when we all can see the woman who sat by, blink and unreachable, while her children turn to skin and bones. I try to forgive her for my father's state, but to be honest, I'm not the forgiving type. Gail spreads the bread slices with the soft goat cheese, carefully placing a basil leaf on each while I strip the bushes of the berries. We settle back into a nook in the rocks. From this place we are invisible, but we have a clear view of the valley, which is teeming with summer life, greens to gather, roots to dig, fish incandescent in the sunlight. The day is glorious with a blue sky and soft breeze. The food's wonderful with cheese seeping into the warm bread and the berries bursting into our mouths. Everything will be perfect. This was really a holiday. If all the day off meant was roaming in the mountains with Gail, hunting for tonight's supper. But instead we have to be standing in the square at 2 o'clock waiting for the names to be called out. We could do it, you know, Gail says quietly. What? Leave the district? Run off? Live in the woods? You and I? We can make it, says Gail. I don't know how to respond. The idea is so preposterous. If we didn't have so many kids, he adds quickly. They're not our kids, of course. They might as well be. Gail has 2 little brothers and a sister, Prim. And you may as well throw in our mothers too, because how would they live without us? Who would fill their mouths that are always asking for more? With both of us hunting daily, there are still nights when game has to be spot for lard or shoelaces or wool. Still nights when we go to bed with our stomachs growling. I never want to have any kids, I say. I might if I didn't live here, says Gail. But you do, I say, irritated. Forget it, he snaps back. The conversation feels all wrong. Leave? How could I leave Prim, who is the only person in the world I'm certain I love? And Gail is devoted to his family. We can't leave, so why bother talking about it? And even if it did, where did the stuff about having kids come from? There's nothing, there's never been anything romantic between Gail and me. When we met, I was a skinny 12-year-old, and although he was only 2 years older, he already looked like a man. It took a long time for us to even become friends, to stop haggling each other every trade and begin helping each other out. Besides, if he wants kids, Gail won't have any trouble finding a wife. He's good looking, he's strong enough to handle the work in the mines, and he can hunt. You can tell by the way the girls whisper about him when he walks by in school that they want him. It makes me jealous, but not for the reason people would think. Good hunting partners are hard to find.